What's up, everybody? Turncock Possible is here back again, continuing What If Asta was trained by Goku, part 34, I think. Now, last time we left off, Asta went through the trial, which it didn't go exactly how it did in canon, but he pretty much freaked out DiMaggio by taking his grimoire, without him taking his grimoire from right under his nose. In the blink of an eye. So yeah, he still has the tracking device on his wrist, as well as DiMaggio was the Magic Parliament was still able to, just like in canon, they went ahead and published that article about him betraying the kingdom and all, with them already having a picture of him in his devil form, his black form. So yeah. And right after the trial, Goku appeared out of nowhere, which was about 3 days since, the attack, since after they saw them. Goku explained that he got here because he was, he wanted to see Asta again, and he thought of a way he could do that without asking Whis to take him in back and forth all the time. Tells him he used the Dragon Balls, that second set of Dragon Balls. Which Yami asks where the Dragon Balls. They also explains, and yeah, that's pretty much where we left off. So we start our story off with after Goku leaves, Yami asks for Asta to explain on Dragon Balls, which he heard. This is about the second time he's heard about them. Asta explains what they are, and Yami grabs his head, squeezing it to take him to his master's world, that he wants to use them to pay off his debt. Make a wish to pay off his debt. Asta just tells him that his master's Dragon Balls and the ones he mentioned he used are both in cooldown mode. I think my master's Dragon Balls are in cooldown right now, but the ones he used, who are someone else's set, is in cooldown mode, so they can't be used at the moment. Yami lets go and just scoffs, saying, it just huffs in disappointment. Which, after that, Asta regroups with his duplicates. Thanks to the multiform technique, he remerges with his two doppelgangers, pretty much. Becomes whole again, and the Black Bulls head back, with them enjoying a ride in the raging Black Bull, with all of them eating and just happy that Asta didn't die or something. Well, Asta didn't give the death penalty right away. So yeah. After arriving, pretty much goes exactly how it did in canon. They forget how the Black Bull's hideout used to look like. Asta makes a suggestion that they give Henry, or whatever his name is, the slow-talking guy who actually is the owner of the Black Bull's hideout. He says that they should all make suggestions to put it into for Henry to make a new hideout that everyone likes, which he passes a piece of paper around. So yeah, though Asta makes his own suggestion, which won't be revealed until after the completion of the hideout, which is gonna be the only thing that stays the same. The only thing that's kept, Henry decides to keep after, you know, if you've seen this part of Black Clover when they reset it to somehow miraculously reset it to how it used to look like. So yeah, Yami then tells everyone that the gets a puts a hat on Asta's head and gives him a net. Asta says, "Is this? Are we going to catch bugs or something?" He tells him no, that everyone's gonna go get his pets. It's the magic beasts that have been running loose the past few days. Which Asta then remembers, oh yeah. Which we flash back to after when Asta regrouped with his friend, with his squad mates, and the magic beasts who got themselves out of the rubble. Which everyone's well, and some of them are begrudgingly don't want to do it, but then he says, Yami says, do you want to die? All of them just go. Well, Yami says he's going to take care of some important business, which he's going to the bathroom, going to the toilet. So yeah. Everything goes exactly as in canon. Asta, though. But when it comes to Asta and Noelle and Nero, it goes somewhat similar. Asta is just taking it easy, actually. Doesn't taking his time because he could sense them right away, but he just wants to spend some time just not fighting right now. Relaxing after the fiasco with the devil and the magic parliament. So yeah. But when it comes to luck and Magna actually showcased a few. In this What If, Magna, I mentioned it several times, but Magna was actually did a few key training lessons with Asta and Yami, which Magna was able to showcase his key techniques by mixing it with his magic, creating flaming magic key scatter shots or something. One of his spells mixing in some key with his magic, making him a little more powerful and deadly. So yeah, which surprising part that Magna was actually able to beat Luck. Well, have actually more stamina than Luck. Which he tries to fight off, which everything goes exactly as in canon, except Magna was able to fight off the mat, actually save Luck or something, but he got caught too, because he was still bruised up quite a bit after their little squabble. So yeah. After that, it goes just exactly the same. Asta and them, but Asta doesn't feel any hostile. Asta flies toward the magic beast, but he doesn't feel any hostile intent towards them. Which then, when arriving at the hideout, he sees the magic beast licking Yami to death. After that, they go similar, except the magic beasts don't actually try to think Asta as a snack because he gives off the aura that if they tried to, he would actually hurt them, kill them. So yeah. Next day or two, Noelle asks Asta to take her to the capital. She needs to meet someone. Asta just says okay, and nonchalantly just tells her to grab on, and he uses instant transmission to tell for them to go to the capital, which he locked on to someone he knows extremely well, who was, well, Flagolion, who was still helping out with the moving the rubble, cleaning up the disaster, which Asta, they say hey, they leave. Asta just joins Noel, because he has nothing really, because he's technically her ride, so yeah. Noel doesn't want him to leave because he's technically her ride. Back to the hideout. So yeah. They meet up with what's her name of the Coral Peacocks, I think they were called, the captain of them, who's actually awake, which her squad mates say that she's awesome when she's awake, and that's when Asta and Noel appear. She then says same thing as in canon, that she expected that she may appear soon, or something like that, which then Noel tries to ask her the question about her mother, what could have killed her, which Asta is surprised that's why he's surprised of hearing this, because it's the first time he's ever heard Noel mention about her mother. Which, right before Noel can finish her question, what's her name uses her dream magic to pull all three of them into her dream world. Which then Asta comments, "This place is in. It reminds me of just amazement of the dream world," and says that this place reminds him of. Well, technically in this one, he hasn't really been to the hyperbolic time chambers, but except the room in Whis' staff. Which, he says it reminds him of that, but they don't have, but no strain on his body. Noel asks, "What do you mean?" He says that there's, from what his master tells him, that, from what his experience, she tells Noel the guy, Whis, which she remembers seeing him the couple times, the blue skin, white hair guy, says that there's a magic room. His staff, he has a magic staff which opens to a different dimension. That whole has a completely different dimension in it or something, where he had to learn how to obtain and utilize God Key, which Noel's curious, but then what's her name, Coral Peacocks or whatever, says, "Ahem, can we get back on topic?" Which she didn't. Which, after saying that, she uses Noel's uses the same trick on Noel by creating an Asta from her mind, from her own thoughts and dreams or whatever. Which she says pretty much the same thing as in canon, but before he actually says that, Asta says, he doesn't really say anything actually. So yeah. That the dream Asta says the same thing as in canon, but the real Asta's there, and she tries to tell Asta that's not true, or, what's her name, the Coral Peacock captain or whatever, says that's how you feel about him, which he surprised somewhat, laughing that the real ones actually hear it, which Asta is somewhat taken back by this, but he then gets then Noel unleashes both a water spell on the fake Asta and the real Asta, sending the fake Asta making it poof, and the real Asta just getting sent flying a couple feet away, soaked. Which he wasn't really paying attention to Noel because of the shocking revelation he just learned, which he can feel wasn't a lie actually. Which leads to Asta. But what's her name dries off Asta with with her dream magic or whatever. He then says sorry about that, or then they just change the conversation to why she's here, why, which he then makes a dream Nozell, which he says that their mother was killed by a devil's curse. But then dotes on her, then Noelle blasts that fake, then we see change to Nozelle's, to where Nozell is, the real one, getting a cold chill. When Cora Peacock's captain, Dream Magic or whatever, says that's how she sees Nozell. At least that's how she sees him. Who he truly is, or something. She then continues the explanation as in canon that her mother was killed by a devil's curse and all that. Explains that Megicula was the one who... The name of the devil named Megicula is the one who cursed her mother. After that, Asta and Noelle... she also gives the explanation of why they cannot speak of the cause of Noelle's mother's death in the real world, because if they do, they will suffer the same fate as her. Which Asta asks, is it possible we can talk about it in another... As long as it's not in the real world, not in our world. That we can't talk about it, right? We can't talk about it in our world. What about other spaces like this, or a completely different world entirely? Do you think we can talk about it there? Mention it if possible? She thinks about this, and she says maybe. Then Asta says, okay then. Noelle, they can... What do you... Oh, then she remembers Asta's master's world. Goku's world. That's possible she could reveal this information to the other squad mates, to the rest of the squad, if they were there. But it's something for another time. Time skip, next day and a half. Both Yami, Asta, and Finral head to the capital, to the Blue Rose Knights, which... Actually, just Yami and Asta, with Asta using instant transmission. Though, actually, Finral just opened the portal, since Asta doesn't really know anyone in the Blue Rose Knights. So yeah. Asta and it goes similar just how in canon, everything. Though when it comes to Charlotte and her revealing the truth to the squad, her entire squad, that she's in love with Yami, us, and then Yami appears. She tries to confess. Yami does exactly the same thing as saying, "You hate me, don't you?" Which then she gets even more awkward, thinking, and yeah, before it continues, it gets even further. Yeah, Asta gets in the middle and says, "I don't think so, Captain Yami." Yami grabs Asta's head, squeezing it. Asks, "Oh, tell me, you're old." It pretty much says the same thing as in canon, saying about, tell me your old so good wisdom of women, huh, kid? Asta somewhat doesn't really struggle that much trying to tell Yami, but he says the way her key is, it reminds me of Noelle, which he somewhat learned the other day of her truth, learned that she actually likes him, which Yami let go of his head and says, "What? Really?" Then he says, "And knowing this, knowing that, does it change anything between you two?" Asta says he doesn't really know. He's never had an actual girl fall in love with him, actually. So he's somewhat thinking about it, but he's saying that Captain Charlotte or whatever's key feels almost exactly like Noelle's when she's acting like this, when she acts like that, which which I think she may actually like you. Yami's somewhat surprised and turns his head to Charlotte and asks, "Is this true?" Charlotte is somewhat dumbfounded that she was actually, and looks down in embarrassment and shakes her head up and down, which it goes somewhat different. She then asks, "Whatever, we can talk about that later, but whatever you were here to ask me, could we do it over dinner or something?" Which then later at night they're at a restaurant. Also, during that entire conversation, when Asa was helping mention the thing, what's her name? The Earth magic user who keeps calling keeps calling her captain by her first name, which Char keeps telling her to call her captain. Somewhat broken, though she is torn about Char being happy and all, and that she's happy that she was able to confess her feelings, but at the same time somewhat angry or upset. It's somewhat confusing, but yeah, during the dinner with Yami, Yami then asks about that curse she has, which she somewhat dumbstruck. That's all he wanted. That's the reason why he came. Though she said, well, she explains that her family was cursed by ancient curse mage or something a long time ago, and it affected her. that she gives the same explanation as in canon, which then leads to her saying that there's someone else who should be able to help you better than me. It's someone from your own squad. Which Yami's taken back by this, didn't actually know, which is Gordon. After they talk, Yami's Char tries to ask how he feels about, well, she nervously or awkwardly asks him. He says he doesn't know. He's somewhat just like the kid. I've got to think it over and, well, think about it. Get my thoughts and feelings thought through or something. Charlotte is somewhat sad, but understands, knowing what type of person Yami is actually. Time skip a couple hours. Well, the next day, Yami gives the order to Asta, Gordon, Gray, and I keep forgetting his name. Too many names of Black Clover. The guy, the sister freak. So yeah. He gives them the order, the mission to go to Gordon's family to ask them about devil curses and all that. About devils. So yeah. Asta, they all head up there with Asta flying instead of hanging from what's his name's broom. Which they arrive, they have the same reaction, saying that all of them look alike. Even the dog, which the dog does bite Asta bites Asta's behind. Plot convenient, with just funny plot. They talk it over dinner, which Gordon's mother takes his grandmother to bed, which Asta overhears the name Megicula. Gordon's grandmother mentioned a name faintly, Megicula. Though he doesn't act right off the bat, he keeps it to himself, since he can't really reveal that where he heard it, because if he did, he would have to explain, and he doesn't want to get cursed. So yeah. After that, Gordon's father takes him to check out his workshop of the curses. Same thing goes, but Asta doesn't really try to defend himself because he doesn't sense any hostility towards Gordon's father, which the other Gray and what's his name says that you people need to learn how to communicate. Seriously. Which then Gordon's father uses the same oil ritual map thing to find that locates curses, which then they see the raging flame over the Black Bull's hideout, and it goes the same as in canon, with them thinking it's the forgot his name again, but yeah. They then see that there's another huge flame even bigger than the one at the Black Bulls in the Heart Kingdom, which they after that they head a couple hours. They head back to the Black Bull's hideout. Asta tells Yami of what they found out about that there's a huge curse sign of a curse in the Heart Kingdom. It's even bigger than the one on Henry's, or I think if I remember correctly his name's Henry, the one Henry has, which Yami says I'll try to figure out how we get to the Heart Kingdom. Which then Yami comes back saying it's a no-show, kid. That there's trap magics, the whole line of it, the whole run-of-the-mill, real deal security covering the border between their two kingdoms. Separating their two kingdoms, which Asta tries to think of a plan to get to the Heart Kingdom by destroying the trap magic, which Yami shuts it down right away. Then he says, I could carry a group of us, or we could fly over it, or fly to it by going around it or over it. The trap magic or whatever. Yami somewhat thinks about it, and right before he finishes thought, Noelle pipes up saying that she remembers hearing this from Mimosa, saying that she went to the Heart Kingdom before a few years ago. Went there on a exchange program or something. Magic exchange program or something. Which Yami forgets about the idea, and they make plans to go talk to Mimosa and go to the Heart Kingdom. So yeah. That's the end of the video, guys. Hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Which I hope you guys like that I made the video a few minutes longer, which I did that so I can cover a few more things than usual, and so I can get to a stopping point soon and continue with the other what ifs for my first lineup. So yeah, with that, also before I go, there's gonna be a second upload today, which I hope you guys will be looking forward to it. It's part 7 of What If Asta and Yuno obtained the solo leveling system. Hope you guys are excited for that, which it's gonna be a little longer than usual as well. So yeah, with that, see you later. Bye.